Hey everyone, Arashi here, back again with another video, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about Star Wars Acolyte Episode 3. Now, as we all know, Star Wars Acolyte has been rumored to say it will destroy what's left of George Lucas's Star Wars fans, and I'm just pretty confused as what they mean by that. I don't understand why they're trying to attack us, because I'm a fan of Star Wars in general, but it just kind of seems like you're trying to alienate part of the fan base, and I think that's what Disney's intentions have been this entire time. And now, as we all know, Yoda is more than likely alive during this time, so I think it's going to have something to do with Master Yoda himself. And if this is all true, then honestly, I just have to say this is very, very extremely saddening and disheartening to hear. And maybe, as I said, maybe this was Disney's intentions the entire time. They wanted to destroy the old George Lucas Star Wars and create their own Star Wars with their image. And part of me, this is what I have to say to this. If that's the case, then go ahead and just cut off Clone Wars, everything. You know what? I'll even take Mando and stuff like that myself. But take Star Wars Episode 7, 8, 9, and whatever Star Wars you want to do in the future, you guys can have that. Disney, you can take that. But just go ahead and make what George Lucas's creation was, make that Legends now. Because I would rather see something like that happen than to see what I love of Star Wars completely die and be erased. And on top of that, Disney, go ahead and sell some rights back to George Lucas, and I guarantee you he will make better movies and better shows. And what I'm getting at here is, you guys know how Call of Duty has Infinity Ward, and then they have Sledgehammer, then they have Treyarch making Call of Duties. Go ahead and do that. Go ahead and do that, but with Star Wars. We'll have George Lucas's Star Wars, and then we'll have Disney Star Wars. And as a majority of you guys know, I've just been trying to advocate for good Star Wars all around, but if Disney really wants to take this route, then go ahead and take this route, and I'm willing to fight and die on that hill. Because it just feels like Disney wants to alienate and completely get rid of one part of Star Wars fandom. And let me tell you, that is a complete and total recipe for failure. You shouldn't want to alienate fans and try to belittle other fans just because you don't necessarily agree with them. Yes, there are some toxic fans within the Star Wars fandom. We all know that. There are some racist fans, there are some sexist fans, but as I said before in past videos, they are such a minority. But most of us fans in general, we just want good Star Wars, man. That's all we really want. We don't want anything else to do with all this other agendas being pushed and everything else that's going on with Star Wars. As a conglomerate, as fans, we just want good Star Wars. That is literally it. We just want Star Wars to be back on top like it's supposed to be, like how we know it is. But honestly, it sounds like something that Disney or Star Wars in general needs to have a huge shakeup in whoever's leading it. And I think it's going to happen eventually. But in order for that to happen, for a lot of changes to be going on, we need a lot of Star Wars projects to fail. And now I'm starting to kind of understand where a lot of other Star Wars content creators are coming from. Now, personally, I still don't really want Star Wars to fail, because if Star Wars fails, it's going to be hard to recover from something like that. But right now, I'd be hard pressed to say that they haven't failed. I mean, come on, look at the last 12 years of what's going on with Star Wars, and it's not good whatsoever. Yeah, there's a couple little nuggets of good things coming out, like Mando season 1 and season 2. I mean, Ahsoka was pretty good all the way up to episode 6. But those few projects don't make up for the lack of attention to detail and what's been going on at Star Wars in general for the past 12 years. It's been a fail. And it just amazes me that even though Star Wars has failed so much in these past 12 years have not necessarily been amazing, and you even have South Park and shows like that making fun of Kathleen Kennedy and what's going on at Star Wars, that they just refuse to understand the message over there. I mean, they just don't get it. It's like they're completely tone deaf over there, and they just don't necessarily look at what's been going on. And maybe, I don't know, maybe it's toy sales, maybe it's just the sales in general, I don't know. But there is one thing that I do know, and that is that Star Wars has not been critically received well, nor has the audience really liked that at all these past couple years. Heck, I remember being 12 years old, and when Disney actually bought Star Wars, I thought that we're going to have a Disney budget. I was like, oh yeah, you're going to be able to do so much more, and it just hasn't been that at all. In fact, in a few areas, in a lot of areas, it feels like we've been given less and less and less, while Star Wars merchandise and stuff like that keeps going up and up in price, and the cost of movies that they're making is going up and up in price. One thing that I can say for sure that's actually happening is it's not just Star Wars when it comes to Disney. It's the MCU as well. I mean, even their new Tiana's Bayou at the park is not being too well received right now after they completely reduced and destroyed what was Splash Mountain and turned it into Tiana's Bayou Adventure. I heard the ride is fun, but it's not necessarily anything close to what Splash Mountain offered. So one thing I can say is at least Star Wars isn't alone in this aspect. At this point, it really is just whoever is leading at Disney needs to have an awakening, and they need to understand what's going on and that nobody's liking their product. I mean, it seems like Disney itself is even losing money right now. The parks aren't really even full. I've been watching a lot of Disney YouTubers and stuff like that because I like to go to Disneyland sometimes. But anyway, that's all I have for this video. All in all, Disney really needs to get a grip on what's going on right now. And that alienating a certain part of the fan base is not very good. And I'm not even going to say it's a certain part of the fan base, it's a majority of that fan base. A large majority of Disney Star Wars fans right now, or not even Disney Star Wars fans, just Star Wars fans in general, are part of George Lucas's part of Star Wars. We're not necessarily fans of what Disney has created. And honestly, I'd say it's a select few compared to the number of George Lucas Star Wars fans. So Disney, I don't know what's going on over there. I mean, if you guys are seeing any of the videos that YouTubers are making, the fans are really starving for good Star Wars content, and it's at this point where fans are going to stop giving a crap and they're going to start creating their own things. Disney, this direction you're going with Star Wars and the rest of your projects and franchises is not the right direction to go in, and I extremely advise you guys to stop going in this course. You should be trying to unite an already a very divided fan base right now, and going down this way is just not the way to go whatsoever. I will be covering the next episode of Acolyte episode 3. Sorry, I do have a review for 1 and 2 coming out soon, but I got really busy during this week. Also, finals were last week, so bear with me here a little bit as I try to catch up to speed. May the Force be with you, and have a great rest of your day. Hopefully this isn't as bad as we think it is.